Under the sun, the fields are alive. Cheering crowds and the teams collide. In these moments, we stand tall and free. First pride runs deep in me. With every touchdown, we rise and we cheer. Unity and spirit, the heart of the year. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zone to go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. Girls in the game, they're fierce and bright. Flag in hand, they give it their might. From every town they bring their dreams. On this field of gold, nothing's as it seems. Together we shine, together we play. In Florida's heart, we own this day. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zones go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. So here's to the game, we'll rise and stand. In Florida's field, we're a united band.
Good evening to you. It is Tuesday night, and it is Happy Toilet Paper Appreciation Day 1 late. Good evening to everybody. It is time for the Drive the State edition of the Blitz here. As we're coming to you live here on this Tuesday night, the night before the 1A through 7A state championships take place down at Pitbull Stadium in the 305, a.k.a. Miami. Myself and Christopher Lyke won't be there on site, but we do have Brandon Covington who's going to be down there for us covering with photos and stuff, and we'll have other updates and stuff for you from the games this week. You can watch those games live on NFHS Network. We'll have the links up here after tonight's show and in the morning for y'all to access the links to click on the for NFHS Network carrying all 7 state championship games this week. And oh boy, here we go. The comments are already firing off. Noli thought UFO adopted the show. Jeez, here we go. I can't.
Like I said,
You get 2 minutes into this.
Can't even get 60 seconds in. Okay.
That's all right. I got something coming at y'all here in a moment.
He said He said FSU won the football.
FSU. No. Hold on. Coach. I love Mark Cannon. Mark Cannon's great. By the way, me and Coach got to hang out with Mark Cannon between the games of the FIT on Thursday this past week. So, and that was it was interesting. Well, we'll talk about that here in a moment. But I got 2 things for Mark Cannon. This one first. I told Mark Cannon I wouldn't be having food, but unfortunately the timing worked thing, and I have pulled pork sliders here and macaroni salad. So, and homemade pulled pork, by the way. It's put it in the cooker 10 o'clock this morning, and it come out so nice. My first time actually doing it, so I'm actually getting it done right. So. Yes, indeed. But anyways, again, welcome to the Drive the State show. That's Christopher Lyke in the top right corner. That's Coach Robert Ron at the bottom. I'm Josh Wilson, and glad y'all are here. We got a lot to talk about here over the next hour and a half, maybe a little past that. We got to 4 games to recap from last week, and then we got 7 games to talk about this week in our picks and along the way, because trust me, there were some interesting results that are going to lead into what is going to be played on the field this week. Ladies and gentlemen, the comments are already, so there we go. There we go. Anyways, let's get into it here with some stuff here. Let's talk about the FIT games here. Let's go ahead and do that here. By the way, I forgot to mention I have the sweet tea here, so I'm doing that. I got the barbecue set up over here, so I'm good. I'm doing good. But anyways, with that said here, let's see. What do we want to? Which music do I want to use tonight? Let's just, you know what? We're going to use our other music that we have. Anyway, let's talk about what happened here Thursday with the FIT 4A through 7A games. Coach, I mean, me and you, we were there at the Villages, and needless to say, that was not what I was expecting Thursday with those games.
I think with all the griping going on, kind of, with people just not really interested in it, not really for it, even with the pros and the cons of it, the product on the field in both games did not help going a long way towards continuing this FIT in the long future. That just it just wasn't good football.
It wasn't good football, especially the fact that we look at the 1A through 3A game first and foremost. I mean, that 1A through 3A game, that one we start with here in the statistical line on these games. I mean, let's talk about it. Dunellen 13-7 here. I'm going to pull up here on our graphic here for that one here, and just making sure that I've got the right graphic here. Yeah, I do here. I just got to pull it up here. Let me go ahead and bring that in. Oh, what is it doing here? Okay, hold on a second. What is it doing here? Why are we messing with me? There we go. Yeah, it's the ghost. Let's see. Let me go ahead and add this. Yep, I think that's what I got to do. Oh, come on, work with me today. There we go. There we go. All right, let's talk about it here. This game, Dunellen 13, North Miami Beach 7. This was, man, how do you describe this, Coach? Because Bo Bertani for North Miami Beach was 11 of 23, 59 yards, had an INT. On the other side, for Dunellen, Dylan Curry, 3 of 9, 64 yards, had a passing touchdown, but I mean, obviously, and then Tony Tanner had a 54-yard touchdown run, and basically all the scoring was done in the first half. The second half, there was no scoring. It was pretty much whoever's going to blink first on defense, basically. That's what
at one point we made a joke that we might be going to overtime to see who misses a field goal first. I mean, it was god awful offensively, and that's not like I want. The flip side of that is give the defenses credit. But I remember in the first game, I made a comment that said, the defenses I thought were playing good, and I thought that was the reason why we were getting that result. In the second game, there wasn't anything really. I thought Joaquin Garcia did have some good things going for them on defense, and that probably is what led to North Miami not necessarily getting success on offense. But I didn't see anything.
Oh yeah, Dunellen for Dunellen
outstanding.
Here, Dunellen.
But in that first game, for sure.
Yeah, and just looking at this, and again, this is the box scores that everybody can get to here. But I mean, this is what it is. Dunellen had 13 first downs, North Miami Beach 8. I mean, statistically, Dunellen kind of did everything right in terms of winning the game. Everything kind of in the statistical categories kind of went their way. It's just I mean they had Dunellen at 256 yards of offense. It's just there's not a lot of points to show for it, and
let Dylan manage the game really well. For what he lacks on the passing side of things, that's not his game. He's not going to go out there and give you 200-300 yards. His game is with his legs, how he extends plays. when you're looking for somebody to throw for 7 yards to get close to a first down, Dylan's out there running for those 7 yards. That's their offense in their way, and I thought he managed their offense the way he was supposed to. The scoreboard didn't indicate that, but we saw it. I thought that it never felt like the game was really out of Denellen's hands if they didn't want it to be. I was impressed in the second half where North Miami had the ball inside of the 20 two different times in that fourth quarter. Denellen's defense, kept it, kept everything in front of them. I think some questionable decisions from North Miami. I think on that first drive in the fourth quarter, they got inside the 20. That was the goal line stand. They didn't kick the field goal then. So when you go to kick the field goal later on, that was when it got blocked. I mean, it's too little, too late at that point. I don't know. Well, what are you going for it now for?
Right. And basically, at the end of the day, here's the thing. I mean, Denellen's time of possession 29 minutes and 40 seconds. North Miami Beach 18 minutes and 20 seconds. I mean, that you look at that, it tells the whole story. Chris, you would just say that tells the whole story right there. Time of possession does tell a lot.
Yeah, time of possession does tell a lot, and I got one observation I had with the box score was North Miami Beach was having a lot of underclassmen in that game.
Yeah,
that seemed like a very young team, and I think that kind of played some kind of a role into this game being as close as it was.
Yeah. By the way, Mark Cannon says it was a fine afternoon and evening for bicycle football. I don't disagree on that one. I mean, the weather was nice down there. It was kind of warm actually for December, but now it's I go step outside. It's got awfully cold. I mean, where did this cold come in? Winston James, yo, good to see you in here. This game. At the end of the day, the only thing that really kind of went, that was against Denellen in terms of, they maybe should have lost this game in a way, was they were penalized 6 times for 51 yards against North Miami Beach only had 3 for 25, but everything else was in the statistical category in favor of the Denellen Tigers over the North Miami Beach Chargers. And with that said, let's bring in the interview that I did with head coach JB Bynum, the head coach in his first year of his alma mater at Denellen. The Denellen Tigers, your 1A through 3A FIT champions here on the Drive the State Blitz edition. All right, FloridaHSFootball.com here with head coach JB Bynum of the Denellen Tigers in his first season, finishing 8-6 with the FIT 1A through 3A championship. Coach, wonder what happened there. Stop there all of a sudden. Come on now. It stopped. Coach, congratulations to your Tigers and everything. And as you were telling me before the game and everything, that y'all thought y'all had a chance to be in the main state championship bracket of the state series in Class 3A, and y'all just missed right out because y'all were like the 7th ranked team, but because of the way the seeding process goes, right. Here y'all are. You got the 1 seed in the north part of the 1A through 3A bracket of the FIT tournament. I mean, just talk about your team being able to have those extra games, being able to play a playoff tournament style football game through and get into December. I mean, what was it like for y'all to go through this?
I mean, I think it's what you play for. I mean, our kids love to play the game of football. So any opportunity that we got to play more football, they were all up for it. I mean, and I don't think you can measure what benefit it brings to your program to have those extra 4 games if you're blessed to get them. We're playing in December. I mean, I think it's December 4th right now, and we're still playing. We just finished up playing football. So I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, that's almost a half a season that we got just with the postseason. So I mean, those juniors and sophomores, the experience that they got, the seniors able to put good film on, good tape on film for another 3 games. I think it was just beneficial to us as a program. Now, for us to win it at the end of the day, I mean, that's the cherry on top.
And talk about playing. Y'all had home games every single round. Y'all were the 1 seed in the north bracket. Yeah. Talk about the furthest you had to travel was basically to come here to play, come to the H.G. Morris Range here at the Villages here in Middleton, Florida. I mean, talk about that. Talk about the experience playing here at a stadium that is just so nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a great venue, great spot to have a state championship game. And like you said, we were at home throughout. So, I mean, but we have been on the road at tough environments throughout the season that helped us get prepared for this game and to come down and travel in the early morning and getting after it. So I think everything comes into fruition. Everything plays a role, and our season schedule kind of prepared us to make a run in the playoffs, and the boys handled it.
Now, and talk about the play of some of your guys here, like Tony Tanner, Dylan Curry, your quarterback, Cameron Wheeler, who had an interception today. I mean, talk about some of these guys that have just been your leaders this year.
Oh, well, I mean, Tony Tanner is our Mr. Everything. I mean, well over 100 tackles, 1,200 yards rushing. I mean, he's Mr. Everything for us. And Cam Wheeler is just Robin, the being Batman. I mean, those two work so well together. They bounce off of each other. And then you have Dylan Curry. I mean, what a way to go out if you're Dylan Curry. I mean, passing touchdown.
Bring that trophy over here.
So it was real good to see our main guys step up
and we got and then there's that trophy that y'all got there. And I mean, there you go. Hold that up there, Coach, as we're doing this. And again, your guys have just been playing football. So what do y'all take away from this experience, being able to do this? Being I think being able to practice on Thanksgiving,
right.
Do all that.
yeah.
What do y'all take away from that going into 2026? What do y'all? I mean, I know y'all are going to savor the moment.
Yeah.
But as we all know in high school football, especially in the Sunshine State, things turn around quick here. You got to get ready for the next season. Starting real quick.
We're going to enjoy it for a little bit, but then we're going to get right back to work, trying to just how we did this past year. January starts our grind to it, so we may have two weeks that we get to love up on this trophy a little bit, and then as soon as we get back from Christmas break, we're right back in the weight room. We're right back on Ned Love, running around, getting in shape again, still staying in shape. Nothing stops. It's football year-round for us at Denellen, and we embrace it.
Now, and to wrap this all up with everything, I mean, let's talk about the second half real quick, because all the scoring happened in the first half. Second half, it was a defensive slugfest. Yeah. Were you expecting that?
Not necessarily. I mean, we had some missed opportunities offensively. Defensively is exactly what I expected. I mean, we went into halftime saying that we had enough on the board right there to win the game if defense doesn't allow them to score another point. So, I mean, they accepted that challenge and went out there and did that. And, that's how we won it. No,
absolutely. Well, the Denellen Tigers, they win the 1A through 3A FIT Tournament Championship here at the Villages at H.G. Moore Stadium here at the campus of the Villages High School here in Middleton. And Coach J.B. Bynum, congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
Go Tigers.
All right, that was head coach J.B. Bynum joining on the show there through the interview that we did with him after the game Thursday, and good for Denellen there. And Coach, I don't know if Craig Damon may have talked to you. He kind of talked to me, and for some teams, they said, the FIT, they kind of like, it might have been like, it was like a mini spring season for some of these teams. And I get that. I can see where, you look at it for some of these teams that have young guys, maybe it was worth it for them. And, maybe for Denellen, who has a lot of younger guys, maybe even North Miami Beach, like Chris pointed out, with that roster, maybe it was good experience for them. Hey, it was a few extra games that they may have not gotten. I think it's just the question is, can you tighten this thing up with the which, by the way, we know the classifications dropped yesterday. We haven't really talked much about it because there's going to be a lot that's going to change with that, with the reclassification. There's going to be a lot that could change here with the appeal process going on for this next week, and then the final classifications come out next Wednesday. So we're going to kind of hold our thoughts totally on that until everything kind of goes set in stone necessarily on that. So, but man, any final thoughts before we talk about our next the FIT, the 4A through 7A, guys?
Yeah, I love the pros of this. We've talked enough about the cons. There's no reason to down it anymore. I love the pros of it. I love the additional games for the kids. I see the purpose in that. I just, for the sake of competition, there's really no way to improve the competition of an FIT tournament. There's not a way to get better games out of it or better opponent. You're just not going to get that. With that being said, I do think that I would, relatively, I'd say 4 to 6 of the teams across, probably have an argument next year. You could probably argue they're probably all going to see the state tournament next year. I mean, I especially think Fort White, will take this offseason.
And Coach, let's talk about that. Chris, let's talk about this here with the ones with the 4A through 7A, because we could make the argument that the two teams that met in the championship and the other team that could have been was that there are 3 of the 4 teams that we see listed here that were part of the final 4 in the FIT 4A through 7A could have respectively made their brackets in their classifications had maybe a couple things gone differently in terms of the rankings. That's all said and done. Dr. Joaquin Garcia, 3rd-year program, by the way, under head coach Brandon Walker, the son of the legendary Byron Walker. If you know who Byron Walker is, won multiple state championships, go back to Glade's day and all that. You can figure it out from there. But with that said here, let's talk about this game. This was another one where it felt like both games kind of felt like watch paint drying, Coach.
Yeah. The hype in the pregame, I really expected a lot. I mean, I know it's one thing to say how a team walks out of the locker room, but the way Joaquin Garcia walked out of the locker room, just looking at the dudes they had on that roster, you kind of understand why they were in a position to may or may not make the playoffs. They had some really size-wise, they had the advantage size-wise, I thought, drastically. Everything we've heard about this quarterback was, that he was a gamer, and in the second half, you started to see that. They really opened up the playbook in the second half and allowed him to do some things, and you started to see Joaquin start to move the ball a little bit more fluidly. First half, that was probably one of the worst first halves of football I'd seen in a while. It was just nothing going right for either offense. And I said this earlier, I didn't think there was anything special that either defense was doing to be the cause of that. I just think that things just weren't working on all cylinders in that first half. The second half improved a little bit, but this goes to what I said. There's not much you can do to improve the product on the field. It is what it is.
Well, I guess the question is, I know you say there's not much room to improve the product, but maybe the way the classifications are being shrunk, maybe that might help a little bit. But we got to see what the final output is going to be on these classifications, because we'll talk about it just slightly a little bit here, Chris. We looked through this yesterday. When the classifications came out, a lot of coaches have, and I got a message here earlier. Actually, it was last night. I haven't really been checking my messages on Twitter because there's a lot of other things going on. But I am checking this. And we'll know the exact enrollment numbers that the FHA will finalize next week on the final classifications. But with rural said, the FHA lists 38 rural teams, by the way, for this. Already 7 have been announced that they're going to the SSA, and none are backing off that commitment. Then you got Monroe sitting there. By the way, and I'm only bringing this up because there's a potential chance that they could be left with 30 teams. Next thing you know, it only takes 6 more deflections. The rural class could be in big trouble. So
I think we're already on that cusp right now.
Yeah, we're already on that cusp right now. So that's a thought right there. Think about these things here for a moment. Can things again? There's a lot that's we're gonna have to see what's gonna have to happen here with in terms of the teams that are left in the districts and in the classifications. What do they do there? That is going to be the biggest question that we are going to be left trying to figure out an answer to, that we don't have yet, not until 1 week from tomorrow, that we will have the bigger picture for what 26 and 27 looks like. But anyways, let's talk about this with the 4A through 7A FIT. Dr. Joaquin Garcia had 14 first downs in that game. Tate had 11. By the way, this game was 0-0 at half. There was no scoring in the first half. When we look at the total offensive yards, Tate had 228. Dr. Joaquin Garcia had 195. But it was what mattered the most was, can you get points on the board? And Dr. Joaquin Garcia proved that in the second half, is getting those points on the board. And looking at this here with the final stat line, obviously, Dr. Wayne Garcia, they scored on a 19-yard Jaden Morton pass from Caleb Butler in the third quarter to go up 7-0. And then in the 6.5 left to go in the game, Gavin Boyd hits a 24-yard field goal to make it 10-0. With that said, the statisticals, the stats, Caleb Butler, 11 of 20 for 167, a touchdown. Did get sacked twice, but on the other side for Tate, Tate had 200 yards rushing, 192 net. And Ethan Pittman was a workhorse for Tate, 17 carries, 101 yards rushing, but not being able to punch it into the end zone. And that's what basically was Tate's undoing, basically, right there.
Yeah, I mean they had the goal line. You're at the 2-yard line.
Yeah,
and you can't punch it in. I mean, when you go back and you look at that, there's not much to point at. You can't put a finger, and it's just something you just got to swallow. We're at a 2-yard line and we can't get 6, and that ends up being the difference in the game. Is you not scoring on that goal line, then obviously the blocked field goal as well. So there's if you really want to look out on the shoulda, woulda, couldas, Tate should have won that game.
No, Tate should have won that game by all the statistical numbers. I mean, Tate's the time of possession favored Tate 25 minutes and 2 seconds versus Dr. Garcia's 22 minutes and 58 seconds. But again, it was the Bulldogs that figured their way into this. They figured out how to punch it into the end zone. I mean, Mark Cannon's right. If Garcia's wide receivers didn't continue to drop passes, which there were a lot of drop passes, just the damage could have been more. And I think not playing in the conference and the confines of home, playing at somewhere in the villages, playing at the villages, which, by the way, to answer Emery's question from earlier, it is a beautiful stadium. By the way, it is really nice. They do have a pad down. I'm not sure if they're going to, because from what I'm being told now is that they may not necessarily build the other side necessarily, but they have a lot of bleachers they can bring in to get it up to the 10,000 number, which is what's coming.
I talked to the athletic director. There's 6,000 seats at the old school, 6,000 seat bleacher set. The intention is to transport that over to the away side, which would add an additional 6,000 capacity on that side of the field, which should equal about what it is on the home side, bringing that total somewhere around 12,000. So will be an impressive stadium to behold at 12,000 people, and a surefire with the way they've built up that brand new town and community with the restaurants and the soon-to-be hotels.
We got to talk about that here in a few minutes here, because it is definitely something we to talk about.
Surely we'll be hosting state championships as a whole, and then I would say in the next 2 years, once that contract down in Miami is over with, I think it's a foregone conclusion. It went off without a hitch. I mean, there wasn't a hiccup all weekend.
Second year of the villages, and they doubled the number of games they had compared to last year. They hosted 4 games, and I'll be honest with you looking at this, and let's go ahead and talk about it right in a second here. And before I bring up the interview from Brandon Walker, the head coach at Dr. Garcia. With that said, the villages, and Chris, you can look at it on the map. Y'all can look at it on Google Maps. You can see just how much has changed in what Middleton is. And it's easy to access. You either get off I-75 at the Lake Pontescoffee exit. I can't say that right. Go through Sumnerville, real easy. Or you come down, you get off the turnpike at County Road 470, which is Central Parkway now. And basically, it takes you right into Middleton, basically. In Middleton, it is growing like wildfire. They're about to build a Publix there. There's actually one hotel going up. There should be actually a couple more being in the process of the built for hotel purposes. The hotel's literally right across the street, right into where it's right on the straight shot of where the Heritage Walk leads you to the stadium. That's how close the hotel's going to be. And just to make it even more of a considered effort to advocate for the state championships to land at the Village. Orlando is 40 to 45 minutes down the turnpike. All right, a lot of teams probably will stay there, go to Universal, take them to Disney, go to SeaWorld, go whatever, take a tour of UCF, maybe go over to Tampa, take a tour of USF, maybe go to Daytona and take a tour of BCU. the options are limited to the list basically for teams. It's basically like if you're playing the Citrus Bowl, except you're playing in a more likable size stadium that can handle that's more realistic for the crowds that we draw here in Florida. Never mind that there's restaurants across the street. There's Four Rivers. There's a Victory Sports Grill. There's a lot of places opening up, and there is still a lot to come. And Chris, I know you were about to say something. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. You there's a feature on Google Maps where you could actually go back in time, or Google Street View. I think it as well. You can do that. You can go back in time. You can see the actual build of the area and how much it's grown. So
yeah,
and it's real easy to see why the village is coming up the way it is.
No, absolutely, and it definitely is something I could say. It's definitely coming up, and especially the growth that is gone. Because got to think about it. The villages started up there around the Sumter, Marion County, Lake County line around Lady Lake. That's where the initial growth started in the 90s. It is now growing so far as south. It has jumped the turnpike over the last few years. It is now south of the turnpike, and then it's encroaching. I say encroaching, and some people would tell you, and especially the residents in Bushnell and Center Hill, they're telling you that the villages is encroaching on them. I mean, Wildwood's been pretty much swallowed up by the villages outside of the main town. Does that tell you anything? So, anyways, let's go ahead and get that interview here with head coach Brandon Walker from Dr. Joaquin Garcia after they won 10-0 over Tate in the FIT 4A through 7A game at the Villages Thursday night at the H.G. Morris Range. All right, FloridaHSFootball.com here with head coach Brandon Walker of the Dr. Joaquin Garcia Bulldogs. They are your 2025 4A through 7A FIT champion. And coach, okay, that does it again. There we go. Come on. Y'all are a third-year program. You opened in 2023. You started out this program, built it from scratch, and talk about your Bulldogs getting here. You know, y'all were close to making the 4A bracket, kind of missed, but y'all got the one seed in that south bracket of the 4A through 7A FIT. Talk about the testament of these guys here being able to play for something here in November and into early December.
Yeah, again, I think we're Bulldogs, and that's what Bulldogs do. Your back gets against the wall, and you come out and fight. And obviously, we were disappointed initially not to get in the state series when we give an opportunity to get in the fit. Our goal was if we're going to be in it, we might as well win it, and that's kind of been our mantra and our mindset since day one of practice for the playoffs. Our kids have been super resilient. They've worked their tails off, and I couldn't be happier for them.
Talk about the growth of this program in 3 years' time. I mean, y'all were the first high school to open in Palm Beach County in like 20-some years. Yeah. So talk about being, having to pull kids from different schools, and bring them together and let them gel as one.
Absolutely. I mean, this senior class are really the guys that were the sophomores that started our program, and you can see the growth on film from year 1 to year 3, going from 1-9 to 7-3 last year to being 11-3 this year. Just really their hard work, their growth. They've done an awesome job. They've set the bar high for the future generations of Bulldogs.
Talk about the first half, because it was a scoreless deadlock. I mean, it was, hey, instead of buying a vowel, we want to buy a touchdown. We want to buy some points here. So just talk about that. What did you tell the team at half, after going through, just a back and forth tit for tat?
Yeah, I mean, really it was more just like, hey, let's play our football. We missed some opportunities throwing the football. They rolled some coverages that confused our kids a little bit. We were a little bit out of sync. I just told them we got to settle in. Protection's been good. Caleb was a little excited feet-wise early on. He settled in, and obviously we started fast in the second half, and that kind of rolled through. But credit to Tate, those kids came out, played their tails off. Those kids are coached really well, and they made it very difficult.
And you mentioned about the second half starting off fast. I mean, you throw it over the top down the sideline, and the next thing you know, y'all are rolling down the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's our game, and we have speed kids on the edge. We got a tall kid with Jaden Morton on the outside. So, hey, we're going to roll with what got us here, and that's what we did, and got enough points to beat.
I mean, your coaching tree, you go back to your coaching tree, I mean, obviously involves your dad, Byron. I mean, the Byron, he's done a lot in this state. I mean, talk about the impact that your father has had and where you're at now in your coaching career.
I'm fortunate. I grew up on a football sideline. My dad has been a great resource, a great tool for me. I'm fortunate that he's still with us and he helps out on game days. But he's let me be my own coach and my own man. I've learned a ton from him. He always says he's taught me everything that I know, but not everything that he knows. So, again. I'm just glad we got the win tonight.
And talk about the blocking that field goal towards the end of the game. That was huge.
We were going to go safe, and we decided to go inside pressure here, especially when they jumped off sides. We got good push inside, and that's what we've done all year. Though we've made plays when we've had to. It hadn't always been pretty, but sometimes pretty doesn't win.
And looking ahead to 2026, I know y'all are going to savor this for a bit, but
savor it for a minute.
But what do you tell the guys? The graduating seniors and the guys that are going to be coming back. Preparing for next year because hey, the momentum's there to get into the state series next year.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously going into the summer or to the off season with a victory or finishing strong gives you a lot of confidence. We graduate a lot of great kids, but we bring back a lot of great kids. So I'm excited about the future of Garcia football. Excited about our next generation of Bulldogs.
Congratulations, Coach. Dr. Joaquin Garcia, the 4A through 7A FIT champion for 2025, coming to y'all from the H.G. Moore Stadium here at the Villages High School in Middleton. Congratulations, Coach. Appreciate it.
Much, man. Appreciate you.
All right, that was head coach Brandon Walker of the Dr. Joaquin Garcia Bulldogs, and I failed to mention there was a couple blocked field goals that Ethan Priest tried 2 field goals that would have been 6 points that had been for Tate. That was a problem. That was part of the other problem was that Tate couldn't punch it in, but also Tate couldn't get it over you couldn't get it past the line because Dr. Garcia was like, we're gonna just block this, and that's what they did. Coach. Your microphone. You're muted.
Sorry, my fault. Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, that's the difference in the game. I mean, sometimes you just got to win ugly, like Coach said. It ain't always going to be pretty, and it certainly wasn't really at any point in that game. And just kudos to his kids, kind of sticking with it throughout the game. I mean, they just maintained the control and weathered the storm when the storm came. I mean, similar to our first game, Tate. They got the ball inside the 20 2 times in the fourth quarter. You had opportunities. Great job to the Bulldogs for holding off there at the end, and it was a great finish to a slow start.
You're absolutely right. They just couldn't finish, and you got to be able to finish. And had Tate been able to finish, it might have been Tate holding up the trophy and not Dr. Joaquin Garcia. Yeah. But also, I noticed something. Let's talk about this for a second, and let's throw this out. Because of what we saw here in the FIT, does classification matter? I mean, Dr. Garcia, yes, obviously the numbers may not match necessarily much because they're at 4A, they've grown, and they are going to be a 6A school, by the way, in the next cycle, in the highest classification. But does classification, does this kind of prove the point maybe that classification doesn't necessarily matter? It's what you have on the roster that matters now, considering that in the day of moving around with transfers and stuff like that?
I think on a small scale, in a scenario like this, if maybe in the future you wanted to merge the FIT into one large bracket for the 1 through 7A side of things, yeah. But I think when you're looking at the state series, I mean, it's not to say obviously 7A is right. The best classification. We're so I don't think that class matters in the state series because you could argue that the 1A through 3A has got the best teams. 2 of the 3 best teams in the state are in 1 and 3A. So size of school doesn't necessarily matter. It's about the coaching, and Coach Walker is an exceptional coach that obviously he's that's burned to him. He knows what he's doing. He comes from a great family tree of it, and has also had the opportunity to, his staff. Just kind of being on that sidelines for his guys and getting to listen into his staff and the communication they had. They weren't offbeat one time. I know when things weren't going right, they didn't seem frustrated. They were positive. The outlook was good going into the locker room at halftime. I think that's a great idea for the FIT. That's maybe an angle to up the competition, is to wipe away the classification side of things and just merge it all into one bracket. And you might get a better championship out of it.
No, Chris, your opinion?
Yeah, I still say kind of keep it separate for a while. Because, when it comes to football, size does matter, especially when you have the rosters are bigger. That's a safety issue when it comes to playing like the 7A to the 1A and the 6A to the 2A. That's a safety issue when it comes to roster size. So
I mean, and I get
that's one thing. That's one thing I think we had to hold off on that idea of switching to all to one class. But it's totally different in other sports because, like soccer and basketball and baseball, it's totally different.
No, yeah.
Because with football, you have guys of all different sizes. That's the issue.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to keep it separate for a while.
No, absolutely. By the way, y'all are going to probably see these at Miami, but these were handed out at the Villages. They're from MIPTAG. They're actually a partner of the FHA. But I wanted to this point the towels that because they came in handy for us. For our sweat dripping because it was like almost 80 degrees at the Villages. Unlike last year, it was like brutally cold. And then I got handed this nice coin, FHA coin that is actually has the America's 250 on the back because America's 250 is coming up next year. So, and it's for Florida. So it's pretty cool. Nice little coin. Actually, a couple coins I've gotten for like officials coins and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to be handed this, but a lot of stuff going on there. But anyways, let's get into our other FIT championship game. And that was the one between Fort White and Port St. Joe. And I got to tell you, this game was everything. This game was actually, if there's any of the FIT brackets that really lived up to hype, it was this one. It was this one in the rural, and it was fun to watch because we saw Fort White get out to a 12-0 lead in the first quarter. Then Port St. Joe comes roaring in the second quarter, scores 21 unanswered points, and goes up 21-12 at half. Fort White just couldn't. They kept extra points kept getting blocked. They just couldn't get it going for some strange reason or another. But anyways. Then here we go. Third quarter, Fort White finally gets on the board. 6 more points. They close the gap on Port St. Joe's lead, and then Fort White with about just under 3 minutes left. Jaden Jackson, a 13-yard run that would put Fort White up. Actually, Ezekiel Powell, 4-yard touchdown run. That was the first one, 4:49 left. That would put Fort White up 25-21. It was Jaden Jackson's 13-yard run that would put Fort White up 32-21. And that we thought, okay, under 3 minutes left, that was it. That was basically icing the game. But no, Port St. Joe said basically, hold my Gatorade, hold on. We're gonna put more points up here. Jay Curry runs in for 11-yard touchdown run. They get the 2-point conversion. It's 32-29, and you can know what happens next. Port St. Joe goes for the onside kick. Fort White recovers, knees it down, end of game, 32-29. It really was interesting. This game was fun to watch. I mean, Fort White 19 first downs, Port St. Joe 15 first downs. With that said, 234 rushing for Fort White, 178 for Port St. Joe. Passing, actually, what's really interesting, passing, Fort White went 14-25 passing, did have an interception, but Port St. Joe went 9-13 passing as well. And the total yardage for the passing yards were, if I can find it here, let me go. It's actually going to be on the next page here that I'm looking at. Jaden Jackson went 14-25, 1 interception, had 3 touchdowns, 115 yards passing. Jay Curry also went 9 of 13 for 154 yards and a touchdown as well. So if you're a lover of offense, you got to kind of mix of both. You got to kind of mix the game, but you also got a mix of the passing game. It wasn't like, what we see out of most rural teams where it's pound and ground, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They actually mixed it up pretty well. So, I mean,
I thought we just had a really good comment down there. If we don't want to mesh the 1 through 3A with the 4 through 7A, I think sliding the rural into that 1 through 3A bracket and putting that together is a better idea. It's more comparable. I think the matchup between Fort White and Denellen would have been
Yeah.
like, that would have been an interesting matchup to see those two teams, or Port St. Joe, Denellen semifinal game. Could have ended up very well seeing Port St. Joe and Fort White back in the championship game again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to think about this. I mean, Fort White obviously was, they were one of the biggest misses. They should have been in the rural bracket. They were like, we thought maybe a 12, 13 seed, and they totally missed. And Chris, me and you, we went at it about this. We were like talking about like, this is crazy. This was probably one of the biggest misses in terms of the teams not making the main bracket. But for Fort White, who only played basically one game in the regional final, had a bye week the first round, had a bye week the state semifinal round. I mean, at least they still got to play for something. I mean, granted, it was only 2 games total, but I mean, Fort White comes away with something. Fort White. Let's just describe Fort White. They're like the redheaded stepchild of Columbia County. It's Columbia, and then here's little old Fort White down here. And that's how you can describe it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the bracket, and like I said last week, I figured Fort White would kind of struggle out of the gate, which seemed like they kind of did.
They kind of did, but they picked it up in the second half, and that was the thing. I describe it as not necessarily how you start, which they started off fast. It's how you finish, and that's what Fort White did. Is they finished the game. They finished what they needed to, and that was their goal. And again, a great game. It's sad to see. I mean, the games like this that are this close and this tight, I think you feel really even more so for the other team on the other side of the scoreboard, because it's like that's probably harder to go out that way than being blown out 70-0.
One thing, one common denominator I see in all these state championship games is most of the players that played in this game, they're underclassmen.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
You probably noticed that. And
a lot of underclassmen, and this is we'll bring up the interview from head coach Demetric Jackson in a moment, and also with Jaden Jackson, who signed last week on the early signing day to Georgia Southern, so headed off to play Division I in the Group of 5 programs. But Jaden Jackson, again, he was 14-25, 115 passing. It also was basically 177 yards rushing and a touchdown. So Jaden Jackson not only used his arms, he used his feet, and that was critical. He also played defense, but had some cramping issues late in the game. And obviously, Coach will address that obviously when we talk about that in the interview here in a moment here. But Jaden Jackson, when it comes to the receiving, Deshaun Lowley was the leader in yards for the Fort White Indians. 4 catches, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns, which I got some good shots of those 2 touchdowns. I will say that, and really good stuff. And then, of course, Jay Curry for Port St. Joe, he had 82 yards. He had 82 yards rushing, lost 38, but he had net 44, 2 touchdowns. Corbin Butts 75 yards on 12 carries, a touchdown there for the Tiger Sharks. And Fort White came away with 2 sacks on the day on defense and 8 tackles for loss. So Fort White was getting after the ball carriers. Whoever had the ball, they were going to get to them and all that. So Fort White, I have a thing. By the way, Asher Peacock had the 2 block kicks on the extra points for Port St. Joe following each of the PATs for Fort White. So, but man, that was the game I say that you could have watched there and everything. It was that game right there. Any thoughts, guys, while we get ready? I'm going to bring up here the interview from Demetric Jackson here from Fort White here in a moment here. All right. Here's Fort White's head coach, Demetric Jackson, along with quarterback Jaden Jackson, his son. And if you don't know this, Jaden, I should say that Jaden, I should say Coach at one time was the mayor of Fort White, so a little tidbit there for y'all as well. So there we go. All right, here's head coach Demetric Jackson and his son, quarterback Jaden Jackson, headed off to Georgia Southern after winning the FIT World Championship 32-29 here this past weekend. FloorHSFootball.com here with head coach Demetric Jackson of the Fort White Indians and his son Jaden Jackson, who just signed with Georgia Southern back on Wednesday for the early signing day period. And Fort White comes out a winner and does it again. I don't know. Come on. The FIT World Championship 32-29 over Port St. Joe. And Coach, I think you said something that as the game was wrapping up, this was much closer than I think you would have liked it.
It was a lot closer than we anticipated, but you got to give credit to Tanner Jones. He and I went against each other for a number of years, so we knew they were going to play hard. We just thought our speed can kind of neutralize a lot of what they were doing. But they did a good job of slowing the game down and keeping us out of possessions. And we turned the ball over. That kind of got them the momentum. And once they got the momentum, it was tough. But got to give our guys a lot of credit, a lot of resilience, a lot of perseverance came back and got that win. So I'm extremely proud of them.
I mean, and talk about the speed right here. He's a big one right here with your son here. And Jaden, just talk about this game here. It sounds like you were nervous about this coming in. As you were trying to you couldn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
What was the excitement about this with this particular game?
You know, it's a big game. You know, coming in playing my first championship game ever. You know, but I give it all to my coaches and the players, the guys around me. I think that we came out determined to win the game, and I think that's the most definitely show.
Now, Coach, y'all started out fast, got up to 12-0, and then gave up 21 points there, and they're going into through the remaining parts of the first half. What did you tell your guys in the locker room at halftime? What did you tell them? Because I mean, it was like all of a sudden it was unraveling right there in the moment.
I mean, that second quarter was not how we like to play football. They had momentum, and so they was kind of really going at us. But I just told our guys that we just got to do what we got to be physical and control the line of scrimmage. And I thought our offensive and defensive line did that by controlling the line of scrimmage. And obviously Jaden making some plays, offense and defense, and getting some stops that we needed to. So I'm extremely proud of those guys.
Now, obviously, y'all came out in that second half. They drove down the field a little bit, but they didn't score any points, and y'all come and y'all get in the board, and y'all make it a 3-point game there. Was that by them doing that, was that what you were really hoping for them to do?
We was hoping to get the 3 and out, really. We was hoping, but they actually ate up the clock, and then you can see they kind of slowed the game down. But getting that stop and then getting that touchdown and then another turnover changed the momentum in our favor. And so you can kind of see that they were getting tired, and we wanted to pick up the pace and go at them. And so that's what we did, and we was able to get the win.
No, and absolutely. And Jaden, I know I know there was a couple times where the cramping kind of thing. What was going through your mind here? Because I knew it's like here's the best player on the team right here. It's like you got to go. You got to figure something out. I'm like
You know, I mean, adversity always comes. I think our team will to be able to push through adversity. To just overcome obstacles. I think it definitely displayed on what our community is and what our football team is.
And for you, Coach, what does this mean for Fort White to play for this? I know you're obviously you played at Columbia, the history of Columbia. Obviously, you've coached at Fort White for many years. Outside the 2 years you went to Columbia and came back. So talk about this for Fort White itself, for the community. Still one stoplight town.
At one time, we're Fort White, we're Tawahi, we're all about family. But this game was parallel to how we live in Fort White. Everything is not going to be given to us. We got to work. Things don't always go like we planned. Sometimes we're going to have hiccups, and that's what we got to do. We got to fight through those things, fight through any adversity, whether you caused it or whether someone else caused it. You got to learn to fight through adversity and make plays, and that's what we did tonight.
And we got to say that adversity, obviously, y'all got the 1 seed, had a bye, and then played the second round game, and then the state semifinal game was basically. It was non-existent because teams talk about going through that, the up and downs of it's like
huge adversity. I mean, you're talking about 3 weeks off. We had 3 weeks off. We played October 31st and didn't play back until November the 20th. So we had 3 weeks off. Then we play a game Wildwood where our varsity players only played pretty much the first half, beat Wildwood 59-0, running clock in the second quarter. Then we get another week off. And so you kind of want that week of rest, but it also kind of shows if you're not getting game speed, you can get cramps, and that's kind of what happened here tonight. So it is what it is, and so we made the most of it and played.
And the deal sealed it all. They they recovered the onside kick, finished out with the kneel out, and that was it. And again, congratulations to you, Coach, and to you, Jaden, and congratulations on your signing to Georgia Southern, and best of luck at the next level. And again, congratulations to the Fort White Indians, your Rural FIT champions for the 2025 season here at the H.G. Morris Range at the Villages High School in Middleton. Congratulations, Coach. All right, that was head coach Demetric Jackson and his son, quarterback Jaden Jackson, again headed off to Georgia Southern, signed on the early signing period back on December 3rd. And again, I got to say this, that game was definitely one game that if you of the FIT games, it was an amazing game to watch. I will say that. Oh, Coach, you're muted.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to follow along with, and really impressed with Port St. Joe. I mean, I know Fort White still ends up winning, but it doesn't entirely feel like eating crow here. But
well, let's see.
pretty sure if I look back, I'm almost positive I said Fort White by 35. So.
Yeah, maybe something like that. You said I thought we were for Fort White a lot. We all took Fort White. Me and Chris took tape, by the way, in the other game. And Chris took more Miami Beach. Me and you took Donnell, and but we were all right on the Fort White pick. It was by a hair, by our skinny of our chin, I guess they say. But anyways, with that said, here, let's go ahead and get back into it here. Let's talk about the Rural State Championship that goes into the Blountstown and Hawthorne game. Well, you see it there. Hawthorne, total domination. It is Cornelius Ingram again for the third time in 4 years. Hawthorne now has the most state championships of any high school football program in Alachua County with 3, surpassing Santa Fe, who has 2. And I want to say I think GHS may have had 2, but I know Buchholz only has 1. So, but Hawthorne, now has the most state championships of any of the football programs in Alachua County. As we roll into it here, when talking about this game, boy, I thought when the first play of the game, Blountstown came out, they were popping, but that was it. They popped early, but then it wasn't so much the case that Blountstown was going to be a factor in this game, because Blountstown pretty much was not a factor in this game. And if you guys remember last week, everybody on the show remembers probably last week, and I think we all said it. We all were in agreement. If you could keep Amari Thomas limited in the rushing department, Hawthorne was going to win this game.
If you remember what I said last week, I said if you focus on one key matchup, and it was Kyler. It was
Tyler Ingram.
Hawthorne. Yeah, Tyler Ingram. In the Amari Thomas matchup, and look what happened.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So let's talk about it. Amari Thomas, he only had 3 carries for he had I'm looking at the wrong thing. He had three catches for 39 yards receiving, but he only had 10 carries for 26 yards and a touchdown. That's it. You eliminated Amari Thomas. You kept him under that number 150. 150 was the goal. 150 was the mark. If Amari Thomas got the 150, Blountstown was winning that game. Not even close by a mile and a half to the turnpike. Okay, that was not. It wasn't even close. And you said about Kyler Ingram. Well, Kyler Ingram had he came up with, it says 2 solo, 6 assisted, but only total of 5. So I don't know how that number happened, but it showed like 8 tackles in my opinion here in this case. But I don't know. Maybe this is the way that I don't know how it reads out. But Kyler Ingram, yes. Drayson Martin, by the way, 6.5 total tackles, 2 sacks. That was huge right there. Drayson Martin there for Hawthorne. But let's talk about the other statistical numbers here. Richard Roundtree Jr., 13 to 22, 126, 2 touchdowns. But the biggest stat, Derek Gillens, he was a workhorse when on the ground, and he was the Morgan & Morgan MVP of the game for that game. Derek Gillens, 23 carries, 97 yards rushing, that total net 95, 1 touchdown. He was a huge part of that, but he also, at the end of the day, that was a big thing here. And looking at all this, it was Roundtree that did proved better for Jalen Jones for Bluntstown. He was 13 to 24, 120 yards, but again, they couldn't really get it going. There was nothing there. Would Hawthorne beat Buchholz?
No.
I mean,
no.
It might be a battle for their first half, but Buchholz would pull away, even if they didn't have Buchholz didn't have their quarterback, which, by the way, we'll talk about when we get to this championship previews here in a moment here. But yeah, so but looking at this, it was the Hawthorne show here, and pretty much at the end of the day, it was, again, Roundtree 126 yards passing, kind of spread it around. Darian Booty, Raheem Moore, Dominic Harvey, Nathan Jennings, they all kind of contributed in their own style. And end of the day, it was a 24-8 result here for the Hornets. And again, third state championship for Hawthorne in the last 4 years, and third in program history. So the little town that could on Highway 301 and State Road 20, there you go.
Yeah, and look for Hawthorne to do some more damage next year. So.
I expect Hawthorne will not be out of the conversation, and this may be part of the reason why we're starting to see some deflections out of the Rural League, unfortunately. And it's Hawthorne, Madison, Bluntstown. I get it. It's like, it's the rules of saying, kids can move around, do whatever they want. I mean, pretty much is what it's been happening, and so it's. Oh man, yeah. So we got another one. With the post-game interviews, we've got our one coming up here with Cornelius Ingram. Any thoughts that you want to add here as we roll through this here with the World Classification State Championship?
Yeah, overall, it's an interesting bracket this year. Not what we expected, but again, more of the same.
All right, coming up here is our interview with the former Hawthorne alum himself, the former Gator great under head coach Urban Meyer, which, by the way, Urban Meyer not only retweeted our tweet, he quoted our tweet from the final score of the state championship game from Rural, congratulating CI. Definitely, yes. I will have to pull up the proof here in a moment here that Urban Meyer did retweet us and quote tweet us. I will pull up the proof here after this. But anyways, also, by the way, a Philadelphia Eagle draft pick, Cornelius Ingram. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. CI for you.
FortHSFootball.com here with head coach Cornelius Ingram of the Hawthorne Hornets, who just appeared in their 6th consecutive Rural State Championship game and are now state champions for the 3rd time in 4 years. Your 2025 Rural State champions, the Hawthorne Hornets. Coach, first, how does it feel to be back on top after coming up short last year right here on this very field?
Feels amazing. In the way we end up doing it with a lot of young guys. A lot of them had a bad taste in their mouth from last year, but to come out here and get a win against a great Bluntstown team, right, speaks volumes to this coaching staff and the type of players we have on our team.
No, absolutely. Let's talk about your athletes here. Richard Roundtree going 13 of 22 tonight, 126 yards and 2 touchdowns. But Derek Gillens, the MVP for the Rural game here at the Villages. 23 carries, 95 yards, 1 touchdown. Just talk about your guys on offense tonight, and then we'll talk about the defense too, because obviously the defense was key. It's critical.
Both of those guys you mentioned are sophomores, right? We try not to put a lot of pressure on them, but they're so competitive and they want to be the best player at their position, and they take a lot of pride in their craft. Of course, Roundtree does, and then I've been tough all year on Gillis, right? He's a 220-pound back, and he got his carries tonight. And most of the time,
all year we threw the football, right? We have 4 great receivers, so sometimes he probably didn't get as many carries as he wanted. But tonight we needed him to get his carries, and he did his job. Just physical all night, ran through the hole, some authority. Happy for him, man. Again, you're talking about sophomores, right? I can't even imagine what this does for their confidence going forward in the next couple of years.
Now, as I've talked about it on the shows and talked to other people during the week leading up to this game. That said, the big thing for y'all, for Hawthorne, is that Hawthorne will win this game if you can shut Blountstown's Amari Thomas down, and y'all exactly did just that. And I mean, I know he scored a touchdown, but it was a 1-yard touchdown. You mean, y'all held him to like the 26, 27 yards. Talk about that. Talk about the defensive effort, obviously, and then your son Kyler led with tackles at 8 tonight.
Yeah. No, we heard about it, all year. Of course, this week when we were preparing for him, and I have the type of kids, right? They don't care about stars. They don't care about offers. They took it personal all week, right? A lot of people challenged them on social media, just by saying this guy, would rush for 200 yards on us, and they took it personal. So we flew around tonight. We made some tackles. They were up for the challenge. Great game by Kylo, of course, and just the entire defense. Because he's a special back, right? He's a special back. He's had all these offers for a reason. He's committed, I think, to Florida State for a reason. And our guys took it personal, so they wanted to tackle him all night. Proud of their effort for sure.
And then just talk about the impact that y'all have, and not just on the eastern side of Alachua County, but all of Alachua County, because now y'all I believe y'all are now the school that has the most state titles of any school in Alachua County now, with 3 sitting in the trophy case now. The third one's coming home tonight.
Yeah, third one's coming home tonight. Well, for us, I say this, man. We stay in our own lane, right? We worry about our opponents, but we're very competitive. We're very competitive. Right? We challenge our guys every single day in practice. We run our program like a college program, right? We watch film every day before practice. We have walkthrough every day, right? So these kids, they know their keys before Friday night. So they're out there just and we have success. So I'm not surprised at all by the performance that the guys were able to put on tonight, because they prepare that way. And again, super proud of the program, our fan base, our entire community.
I mean, you speak about that. You're running like a college program, and I know some people say, "Hey, that's the University of Hawthorne out there." But you lean back onto your years. Obviously, you're a 2004 graduate of Hawthorne. You played your college career at University of Florida right down the road. I mean, how much do you model, especially after what you learned through the years, especially when I know that was like thing I want to say that was like mostly Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
So what did you learn from Coach Meyer that still applies to this day?
So much. The way I challenge my players, I'm pretty similar to him with that. And then even some of the plays that we ran at Florida, we use some of that stuff in our playbook right now. Just spoke with him. I was actually with him for the Ring of Honor ceremony at the Tennessee game. We talked for a while. We just talked this past week. And he's always keeping up with my program and my players, of course, my older brother. So he has a lot to do with what we've been able to do with my program. And I played under a lot of great coaches. Of course, Billy Donovan on the basketball side, Andy Reid when I was in Philadelphia. So I've used a lot of different things from all these coaches, implemented it into my coaching style, and it works. And again, I get to do it at home in my community. That makes it even better.
I mean, and what do you tell? What do you tell for your future opponents, and or what the teams that you would like to get on the schedule? Against reclassifications coming up, obviously it's not going to impact y'all. Y'all will probably still be mostly be rural. What do you tell for teams? Hey, if we're getting scheduling for next year, because hey, no better way to challenge yourselves than playing a defending state champ.
Absolutely, we scheduled a tougher schedule this year. We played on the road a lot, so all of my kids, they're ready for these type of environments. And again, we're always looking at the long haul, right? Not really, just focus on our regular season, but if we travel away, right, I want to see what happens when we don't have a crowd. right? If we travel away, I want to see how we play on turf. And we were able to do all these things this regular season that prepared us for tonight. Again, my guys never flinched all year. They never flinched all year. High character kids. Absolutely love every kid in that locker room. Man, Hawthorne is a special place, and it's going to be a special place for a long time.
Of course, special place, Annie Mae Phillips Stadium. That's a special place. If you haven't seen the game, good chicken wings, by the way, out there. I will recommend them. Anyways, head coach Cornelius Ingram of the 2025 class World State Champions, the Hawthorne Hornets. Congratulations, Coach, 3 and 4 years. Taking it back up 301 to Hawthorne. Congratulations, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, that was head coach Cornelius Ingram of the Hawthorne Hornets, who again won 24-8 over Blountstown to bring home their third state championship in the last 4 years. And I'm gonna pull it up here because I said I was gonna do it, and we're gonna get it up here and bring it up here. All right, let's see. Here we go. Here you go. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, wait a second. Oh, that's what I got to do. Is do it this way? All right, here you go. Yep. There's Urban Meyer's Twitter feed. He not just retweeted it. He quote tweeted it. That was a double. I mean, you look at that. I mean, and yes, because of Urban Meyer retweet. Yeah, I mean, our insights. I mean, over 78,000 impressions alone, right there. And then of course, Urban's got 55 off of that. But a lot of that, we retweeted that. That's. I mean, there you go. I woke up Saturday morning to see Urban Meyer's retweeted this. I'm like, my goodness, this is incredible. So there you go. I mean, that's just impressive. Again, again, Hawthorne, 24-8. I mean, CI, he's at home. This is his home. Hawthorne is his home. And he's put Hawthorne squarely on the map. Don't blink. Don't blink through going to Hawthorne. Actually, Hawthorne's got multiple traffic lights, so there you go. They're not a one-stop play town, so there you go. And probably 20 freight trains running through along the A line, or is it the S line? No, it's the S line. And the A line's on the other side. But there you go. There you go. It's definitely cool to see that. So, but. Hey, Emery, I know you believe me. I just got to say, it's a pretty cool thing to bring this up here on the show, I think, to be able to talk about this. But anyways, with that said, let's do this. All right, we're going to take a break here. And then, you know what? We got 7 games to talk about and to make our picks here, our final picks of the 2025 season. It's hard to believe. We're down to the final 7 games this week. For the 2025 season, we'll be right back. Take a break here on the Dry State edition of the Blitz here on 4HSFootball.com. We'll be right back right after this.
I've been thinking about this for a long time. I thought, if that's out there, I want to make sure I see it and I get involved in it, because to me, this was music to my ears. I was blown away. When you look at today's kid, the millennium kid, they learn by being able to see it. If I can see it, there's a great chance that I can do it. The First Down Playbook is a tool that can essentially change the way we teach the game.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with a free ScoreStream mobile app. Download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Get ready for the 2026 Coach of the Year Clinics. This February and March, see top collegiate coaches, learn from the best, and take your program to the next level. Don't miss America's most respected coaching clinics.
All right, welcome back here to the Dry the State edition of the Blitz here. As we roll into the next part of this, by the way, I was looking at our picks from last week here. Gentlemen, as we'll go through this here, I'm looking at our picks here, by the way. We pretty much, we were kind of back and forth on that on the FIT rural 1A through 3A game. We all kind of were back and forth on that 4A through 7A game, but we pretty much nailed it on the rural FIT and the rural state championship game. All of us took Fort White, all of us took Hawthorne, and Coach took Dr. Garcia. So congratulations on him on that one, and of course, Coach took Dunellen as well. But by the way, Coach was 4 for 4 on those games at the Villages. By the way, so hats off. Let me see. Where's my round of applause at there? Because that's actually pretty good there on that one. Where's my applause at? There we go. There you go, Coach. There you go. There you go. I was 3 for 4, but and then Chris was 2 for 2 on that. But we're going to get into some of these picks here because Chris is going to get a round of applause here in a little bit for one of the picks, and he definitely called it spot on for it, and I got to give him mad props for it here. So James Wishing Troll.
I'll take a wild guess which classification that was.
If you know which,
and I called it right before the playoffs started.
Did he pick both winners in both games?
Yes, he did in that classification. We yeah.
All right, Chris, you can go home.
Not only that, Coach, I picked West Broward. I warned everybody.
You warned everybody. You warned everybody. He did warn everybody. Man. Well, with that said, man. With that said, let's get into it here with what we've got to talk about here. So we're going to kind of go in the order of the way the state championship games are going to be played. And with that said, here I gotta do this here real quick. We're gonna pull this one up here. The first one to pull up here, I believe I've got it sitting here correctly. Here is yes, indeed. I'll go ahead and I can get it there. There we go. Oh nope, why did it do that one? Okay, that's the 1A game. Sorry, the file numbers are not correct. So let's do that one. That's yep, this is the one I need. All right, first up. Tomorrow night is the 2A state championship game between Bowles and Cardinal Mooney, both 13-1. As you can see, let's talk about this here. How did they get here? Well, Cardinal Mooney basically waxed the floor on Cocoa.
Yeah.
But who saw the goose egg coming on Cocoa? Who saw Cardinal Mooney putting the goose egg up? I sure didn't. I thought Cocoa would score at least 7 to 13 points. Joke's on me.
We all kind of mentioned last week that Cocoa was going to run out of gas. So.
Well, they should have ran out of gas in the regional semifinal against Calvary Christian. If that had been the case. Yeah. Could we have been talking about potentially, at least Bradford making the state semifinals? Oh yeah, could have been. We could have been potentially talking, potentially Bradford, maybe being in the mix to make the state title game. Oh yeah, we would have, but that wasn't the case. So we'll throw that out. But we knew that Cocoa was running out of gas, and sure enough, the gas tank was apparently on E before they even got to Sarasota.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great game, man.
And of course, on the other side, Bowles was basically up. That game was not even close. That 42-20, that's not indicative of how dominant Bowles was. Again, Alexander Edwards just totally the workhorse of all workhorses that has been Bowles football this year. I was looking at the stats. He is the state's leading rusher this year.
Yeah,
and the good thing is we got 2 more years of him.
Oh yeah, and that, if your team's in the you're in the Jacksonville area, or you're going to be in the 2A classification, which is what Bowles is going to be again next year. I'd be nervous. I'd be shaking. Shiver me timbers. Because that's how good Bowles is going to be here. But this,
well, if that district holds up at all, what a snooze fest of a district that's going to be for everybody except for Bowles.
No, you're absolutely right, Coach. I think as we do this, talk about the drive to 305, aka Miami state championship games again. Pitbull Stadium, South Dade Kia Field at Pitbull Stadium. We'll have all the links to NFHS Network links here after the show. We'll get that situated, or tomorrow morning we'll have all the links for you to watch the state championship games. They'll be available to you to watch. Let's talk about this here. This game, Cardinal Mooney. Bowles, I mean, it's oh my goodness, this is going to be this to start off the state championships with a game like this. Last year it started off with one game that was a whimper. This game, not even close to probably being a whimper. This game's got something here. I mean, obviously, when you look at it, Xander Edwards averages 181 yards a game, but you got Connell Jackson, who for Cardinal Mooney, who averages 161 a game. So pretty even both sides with the rushing department. The passing yards, Jaden Weatherly, 143. Davin Davidson for Cardinal Mooney, 156. So again, these are two teams that have a lot of balance. On the offense. And defensively.
Not only that, defense did well.
Huh?
Defense did well.
Defense as well. Both teams are 13-1. This is going to be a hell of a game to start off the state championships. I mean, man, gentlemen, let's talk about it. Who are you picking in this Class 2A state championship game for all the marbles, for all the bragging rights for the 2025 season? Coach, you want to go first, or Chris? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Yeah, I mean, like I said, 2 elite running backs, 2 elite O-line groups. For me, this is about as balanced of a game as you get. The key for the game for me, and the reason why I'm going to go with my pick, I have Bowles 34-31 over Cardinal Mooney. And the key for Bowles to win this game, it ultimately comes down to Jaden Weatherly's legs. He is the dual athlete between the two quarterbacks, his ability to extend plays. We know about Naheem Burrows on the outside. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I said teams that can find a way to have guys in the box to stop Xander, or at least slow him down, while still being able to defend Naheem on the outside, has the best chance of success. What teams keep forgetting about is Jaden Weatherly can run the ball too. And so
you're absolutely right. And here's the thing. Let's bring up some other statistical information that will be key and critical in terms of where our picks are going. Bowles averages a total of 413 yards per game. Cardinal Mooney's been averaging 462, almost 463.
Right.
Tackles per game, they're pretty even. Cardinal Mooney 76, Bowles 70. Sacks per game, that's going to be the big question here. Cardinal Mooney's been averaging 5 a game. Bowles almost 4. Kind of even, but let's see. This game is a balance of 2 even teams that basically who's one, Coach, I'll say this. 1, who has the ball last, and 2, who blinks first.
Yeah. I think it's what defense, who wins the turnover battle in this game. And I add on turnovers on downs, fourth down, failed fourth down conversions, getting a team to punt, 3 and outs. Listen, in our coaching world, a 3 and out's a turnover, especially on the plus side of the field for our defense. So who wins that turnover battle in all the different capacities? That's who wins this game. It is going to be a classic game. I mean, it's just too even of a matchup to call it. That's why I got a 3-point victory for Bowles. I think Jaden Weatherly has been one of the sneakiest transfer additions for any school in this area up here in Jacksonville. Just was a superb addition. It was the right guy they needed at quarterback to really complement what Xander brings in the backfield. So
Mm-hmm.
just enough of a difference in this game, I think, is what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. All right, Chris, Mr. Lyke, where are you going?
Honestly, I think it's going to come down to whether Cardinal Mooney can stop Xander Edwards. And to be honest with you, that they have done more adjustments with Xander Edwards from the start of the season to now, all year long. That's a team that's done more to adjust to their playing than I've seen any other team this year. So give me Bowles, and it's probably going to be maybe a 10 or 14 point game.
Yeah, I'm riding the Bulls train here. Xander Edwards, he's one of my favorite players right now, especially in terms of underclassmen. This is just it's can you stop Xander Edwards? And really no team has been able to really stop him this year. Not a St. Augustine, not a Columbia. And we're talking teams that made the playoffs, by the way, when I'm throwing out teams that no one's been able to stop him. I mean, yeah, they got in a high-scoring shootout with Baldwin, but Baldwin couldn't even stop him. And that's where he set records. So
I'd say the benchmark number for Cardinal Mooney for this game is 110. If you can hold him in under 110, then I think you're in this game. But I think if it's anything north of 110, he's probably got a 3-4 touchdown game. And you're not even talking about what Naheem Burrows is doing on the outside.
I'll go you one better. If he's over 110 through a quarter and a half, that's it. Bulls is winning.
Yeah. I meant for like the course of the game. But if he's flirting 100 yards at halftime, we're.
But if he's over 110 through the first quarter or even through the first 18 minutes of the game, that's it. There's no way, because they're going to gas Cardinal Mooney out.
Yeah.
We interviewed Xander Edwards earlier this year.
After he broke the record, or one of the records.
Yes. Yeah, and he said basically he studies their defense. So they're doing their homework already.
But can I lean into that? His dad is Mark Edwards, who played for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he's learning from Daddy real quick, like what to do. He learned from that. And that is key critical from a guy from your dad who played in the NFL for the NFL starting franchise. Which, by the way, go Jaguars, 9-4 in the season so far. First place in the AFC South. Okay, and I will take Bulls here in this one. I believe this is it. We also got to look at the strength of schedule. While Cardinal Mooney has played some decent teams, not the schedule like Bulls has played. Bulls wins out on this one. Bulls absolutely wins out on this one, and so give me the Bulldogs for the win and give Bulls their first state title. I'm looking at this. It would be their first state title since Corky Rogers back in 2011. If I'm
2011, yeah.
2011 under the legendary Charles Corky Rogers. And finally give Matt Toblin his first state title as the head coach of the Bulldogs as well. All right, so next up is the Class 1A game. That is Thursday at 12:30 between Shama Madonna and Cardinal Newman. And boy, oh boy, congratulations to myself for picking Cardinal Newman. You two guys, y'all were on the Carrollwood train, and somehow that train whistle didn't go off, and the Cardinal Newman train went right down the track.
Yep.
And you know what? Give it to head coach Jack Daniels. He did something that in 40 plus years of what Sam Budnick could never do, was lead Cardinal Newman to the state title game. Sam Budnick was a great coach, just Cardinal Newman could never get there. Mm-hmm. And Cardinal Newman knocked on the door last year, but this year they knocked on the door and broke the door down. They said, "Hi, here you are. How we doing, Shema Madonna? We're here. We're going to play." And you know what? We've seen it time and time again with Shema Madonna this year. There's going to be teams that are going to give them fits. This Cardinal Newman team is going to give them fits. I might not expect Cardinal Newman to win this game, but it's not going to be like a 42-7 blowout like it was last year with Shannon Madonna over Clearwater Central Catholic. And I'll be honest, Cardinal Newman should have been last year.
Yeah, I wonder if Cardinal Newman can contain Derek Cooper and Jason Lopez and Jaden Roper. I don't know if they have the fortitude to actually do it.
But give credit to Jack Daniels, who coached Dwyer to multiple state championships. Now it's the head coach here. He's bringing that same state championship pedigree, coaching style, everything to Cardinal Newman, and now the rewards paid off. You're to the state title game.
Mm-hmm.
It may not result of you hoisting up that state championship trophy, but you're going to give everything you got to one of the best teams that has been in this state title game. Gosh, it has been a decade now since we've seen with Chaminade Madonna being in the state championship game every single year. We have to go. Let's go back. Let's see. We got to go back to. Let's see. Here we go. Chaminade Madonna 2016. Yeah, you go back to 2016. It has been total dominance the last 10 years of seeing Chaminade Madonna be in a state title game. That's just how good they are. They haven't won every single state title game along the way, but they have won more than they have lost. Coach, Chris, you got something? Oh, Chris, I thought you were going to say something. I'm sorry.
No, I don't know.
All right, Coach, what are you thinking?
Oh, well, I'll get this out of the way. I might have the closest point margin prediction, I think, out of the three of us, the way it sounds like hearing y'all talk about it. I have Chaminade 38, Cardinal Newman 28. I really think this could head towards a blowout. If Chaminade can really, truly swallow up the Crusaders' rushing attack, this could get ugly pretty quick, because that's the one thing that Cardinal Newman really has had going for them in the playoffs. No one has slowed it down. But if there's anybody that can do it, it's Chaminade. The big key for me for this game, I think freshman Malik Leonard really stamps his early bid to be the top quarterback in the nation. 5-star status coming up in a year or so. Big game. I think another big game by Derek Cooper as well, 100 plus. I think it's just too much Chaminade, but I think Cardinal Newman really hangs in there through a lot of this game, and I think it's just too much late in the second half, depth, just guys that they can just keep throwing at them in certain spots in the game where they got to maybe bring a second-team guy in. It's too much Chaminade, but I don't see a big blowout this year. But it could happen. It could happen. If there's a team that's going to shut down Cardinal Newman's rushing attack, it's definitely this Chaminade team. So I'm leaning on the side of a closer game just for the sake of the competition. But yeah, I mean, I don't see Cardinal Newman pulling it out.
No, I think Chris.
I like I said, the one thing about Chaminade Madonna, if you stop them on the run, they're gonna blow you out on in the air. So pick your poison.
You're right. Pick your poison on this one. And Chris, what are you thinking on your pick here? Obviously,
I got Chaminade Madonna by about 2 or 3 touchdowns.
I'm more leaning towards what Coach's prediction, but I'm kind of more like I'm a 38, 39 point type deal for Chaminade, and Cardinal Newman about 24 points. The question there's just how fast does Cardinal Newman start, but also how fast does Chaminade Madonna start? That's going to be the question mark. And we're going to get that answer obviously come 12:30 Thursday afternoon. It's just, I feel like, again, it's the depth, as what Winston James has mentioned here in the chat, what others in chat we've mentioned, it's the depth. Give me Chaminade Madonna for, let's see, there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be their 5th straight state championship if they win tomorrow, Thursday. Fifth straight. Let's see, it would be their 5th straight, 6, 7, 8. Would be 9 out of the last 11 years. Actually, about 11. out of the last 10 years. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy to think. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Like we said yesterday, get your lickings out of the way early because they're moving up to 2A next year.
Oh yeah, this is it. They're going to be 2A, and they will not be requesting to go down. And this is where I'll be honest. Shamana Madonna, this is where they want to be. They want to be in 2A. They wanted to be in 2A this past cycle, and they didn't get it.
Bowl Chaminade next year.
Oh God! And Coco's already complaining.
We saw that yesterday. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, I've already gotten a message. Sorry, Coach Franco, and sorry to everybody else there at Coco. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyways, let's go into our next game on the docket here, and that we got coming up here is going to be for Thursday game. We have the 5A title game, which that'll be interesting to talk about here with this one with the state of the 5A title game. It is St. Thomas Aquinas and Lakeland rematch of last year's Class 5A game, and my God, 35-0 sits there still in my head from last year. Just a complete obliteration of Lakeland. And I don't know. I got to be honest with you. Here's my thing. Does this end up being a worser result this year, or does Lakeland actually come into this game thinking, hey, we can't play like we did last year, or we're going to end up in the same result or even worse?
Lakeland is not as good as they were last year. I
agree with you on that. That's why I'm saying this, because can I circle you back to the final week of the regular season where First Academy just basically beat them in overtime? I mean, come on.
If anything, St. Thomas Aquinas is better than they were last year.
Oh, they've been completely dominating here, and that's the thing that we have to really think about here with this with this game here. And let's just look at the comparisons with this team here. I mean, let's look at the statistics here. I mean, St. Thomas Aquinas, 208 yards rushing per game, 164 passing per game. Lakeland can't even barely get 132 passing in a game, and they're averaging 173 a game. There's almost 100. The Aquinas averages more about 100 yards a game than Lakeland does. And that, to me, right there tells you the whole entire story. This Lakeland team has got some issues.
Yeah. No, I don't see them stopping Mason Mallory. I don't see them stopping Julius Jones. I don't see them stopping Wyatt Smith on defense. Yeah, I just don't see it. I mean,
Aquinas averages 2.9, almost 3 sacks a game. I mean, they average over 75 tackles a game. I mean, we don't have any defensive statistics for Lakeland because apparently they don't like to put them in. But needless to say, man, thanks for playing, Lakeland. Thanks for showing up. I mean, great that you made it back here again, but this is not going to be a fun football game Thursday night, I feel.
No, it's not.
Coach?
Yeah, I got St. Thomas 35-17. I don't think it's quite the blowout as last year. I do think Lakeland shows up in the first half. I do think I put this down. This is something I've been sitting on earlier. I think if Lakeland finds themselves winning this game, one thing is going to happen. And if this doesn't happen, they're not anywhere close to being in this game come halftime, third quarter. And that is, they're going to have to pull out some really early decisions out of a hat, try to catch St. Thomas sleeping early in the first quarter. Not necessarily trick plays, but just things that maybe you're not showing too much on film. Just something of that nature that catches a really, really, really solid and sound St. Thomas team. Not necessarily napping. I don't think that this is a St. Thomas team that's going to be napping, but maybe not looking for the right thing. And if you can get an early lead and the defense can help sustain that, maybe we're looking at a close one-score game at halftime. I just just don't see that happening. I don't see Lakeland being able to sustain that for 48 minutes, but I do see them showing up. I think this is Lakeland has questions, but I do think this is an improved Lakeland team from last year as well.
And I'm going to refer. Go ahead, Chris.
You know, I'm going to say this, Coach. Last year, Lakeland was in the game until halftime.
Yeah.
It was the second half that St. Thomas Aquinas dominated, Chris.
Yeah.
And me and you both saw it. We were standing on the sideline seeing that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and I'm gonna refer to one of the biggest Lakeland fans that we actually have in this chat and on the show, and that's Nolly. And he's and take Nolly's word for it. For the second year, he's not impressed with the Knott's offensive output. This is where I'll be honest. I'm sorry, but this is St. Thomas Aquinas 42-7. That's it. I'll give Lakeland 7, but I can't give them any more because I don't think Lakeland shows up.
Yeah.
And you know what? If they show up and they win this game, I'll come back and I will admit my fault, and I will eat crow. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Just bring the side of ketchup.
No, I don't see it. I really don't see it.
I don't see it either. I don't see it. But we're all in agreement. St. Thomas Aquinas, so far, our picks are all the same here through the 3 of the 7 games here. Let's get into it here with the next game. That is the Class 6A state championship game. And by the way, hats off to no, that's the wrong thing. Hats off to Mr. Christopher Lyke there, because he called it big time on this one. And
yes, I did. I
yes,
called
indeed.
it at the beginning of the playoff, this matchup was going to happen.
He called for West Broward. This is an all South Florida matchup, by the way, Tri-County area here between West Broward and West Boca. By the way, the 3 and 4 seeds in 6A, the 1 and 2 seeds. This is the only bracket this happened in terms of the Final Four. The 1 and 2 seeds out. Obviously, Buchholz lost their starting quarterback early in the game due to injury. That didn't help. Armwood, well, who did Armwood really play this season? The best teams they played were in the front load of the schedule.
Yep.
Armwood kind of coasted through the rest of the season and through the playoffs until here comes this West Boca team that actually, you know what, they played a tough schedule, but you know what? By the time the end of the season rolled around, they dominated Delray Beach Atlantic, and they just dominated and cruised through the playoffs because West Boca peaked at the right time. Armwood peaked at week 1. West Boca is peaking at week 15 and 16.
Mm-hmm.
That's your difference. And West Broward, they're peaking just at the right time, too. This is going to be a good battle. Does West Broward win their first state title, or does West Boca win their second consecutive state title? That's the question now that we have on the docket. Mr. Lyke, I want to go with you first on your pick here.
I still think West Broward repeats the state champion in this game. And I honestly think West Broward is going to have that deer in the headlights look in the first half. And West Boca has been there, done that. And they've got the experience, they've got the talent. I mean, I think West Broward is going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take them a while to get into this game. But give me West Boca by maybe 10 points.
You're going to go West Boca or West Broward?
West Boca.
Okay. West Boca return. All right. Coach, who you got in this one?
I got West Boca 28-24. I think that this is it's a contest that I think is going to starve for points in the first half. I think it's maybe a 17-7, 14-7 Boca lead at halftime. I don't really what I think it is I think it's both offenses trying to kind of figure things out early. I think West Boca is going to have a little more success doing that early. What it really comes down to is if West Broward's going to spring off another upset, and I still, I know I called it wrong. I still think that's an upset from last week. But if they're going to do that again, they're going to have to bring the same energy in the box they brought last week. And can you do that back-to-back weeks against an against a better team than you faced last week. I just don't see that being successful for the course of the entire game. But I do think it's a close game. I think West Broward kind of proved me wrong last week in terms of what they can do. I think they stay in this game. I think it could be a little more than that 4-point margin I have, but I like it. I think of the 7 games that we have, this is probably next to that Bulls Cardinal Mooney game. This is probably the closest game in terms of opponents that we have.
Yeah,
I think both a little bit better.
Let's point a couple things out. Total yards per game, they're pretty even. 377 for West Boca, 367 for West Broward. The biggest thing is that West Boca can run a bit more, and I think that's going to be the key difference. Can West Broward shut West Boca's run game down? That's the big question mark in all of this, because if West Broward is able
to West Broward credit, they've got Trey Moran there, and he could run the ball, he could throw the ball, you could do whatever you want, and he's still gonna make the adjustment on the fly. That's what we saw last year.
Yeah, and that's why West Boca has probably got the edge, and that's where I'm going West Boca here in this one. I'm going to be even more crazier with my pick. It's going to come down to a missed extra point, 28-27 West Boca. They're gonna West Broward may start off slow, but they'll get into this game because this is the way they played. But the question is, can West Broward shut West Boca's run game down? Can they or at least limit the damage? That's going to be the key critical thing here. And again, as Chris pointed out, Trey Moran, obviously we saw it last year. There's Javian Mallory as well for West Boca. So again, players that on this West Boca squad that, hey, they've already tasted it last year. They know what it's like. They're not going to walk in scared. The question is, do we end up with a result that looked like the West Boca Osceola game last year, or is it a whole different story? We're going to find out. Again, 12:30 kickoff Friday afternoon at South Dade Kia Field at and say what, Coach? Oh, you're good. All right. Okay. All right. So we are in agreement, West Boca here. So let's go into our nightcap for Friday. It is a rematch in the Class 3A between Miami Northwestern and Reigns, both 13-0. Somebody will finish the season undefeated.
Come on.
Coach, I know you've been excited to talk about this one. Me and Chris saw this last year in this game. Total domination, total blowout. Teddy Bridgewater is the head coach. He's not Teddy Bridgewater this year as the head coach, but still, you could probably, whoever the head coach is at this point, you could probably slot in Miami Northwestern. You're just playing total dominant football. Obviously dominated Bishop Moore 52-21 in the state semifinal. And of course, Reigns just maybe eased off a little bit on the gas, 28-8. Maybe they're against Booker, maybe trying to save up some for come Friday night. Coach, I know you've been itching to talk about this one. Go for it. The floor's yours.
Throw all the notes out. Nothing to really say. Listen, I've been saying it since January. This was going to happen again. This was going to happen again.
You're right.
And I'll say this. As soon as last week ended, I'll tell you who my pick was. I was going with Northwestern over Reigns, and I sat on it to the point that I don't give a damn if I miss the damn pick. I'm not about to turn my back on my boys from the hometown, Coach Maslin, TJ Cole, 38-36, upset of the weekend. It happens this time. They get it back. Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Okay,
we coming down to the 305, and we taking the damn thing back up 95 to our hometown.
Man, coach is confident in the pick, Chris. I'm not so confident.
I don't think
it's not there.
That's fine. I know. Listen, I know how stupid I sound right now compared to what everyone else is going to say. But let's go.
Oh boy, this is going to be more of the same from last year. Northwestern is a much more talented team than Reigns. Yeah, I just don't see it.
Yeah, here's the thing that and this is going to be my thing here. When it comes to the schedule, I think one of the biggest things that and it's a travesty that it happened.
Yep.
Range should have had that contest against Miami Central. They should have been able to play that game, and it should have been able to be played at the Graveyard. I don't understand. Again, I still don't understand why, other than it just was, here we are days before this game, and it's like, wrong answer. It's like, nope. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think outside of that, who
This is the best defense that Northwestern has faced. Better than Central's defense.
I understand that.
This is the best defense that Range has played too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And DeMarcus King.
My pick is with my heart. All right. My head's telling me that I am the biggest idiot on social media right now.
Okay.
But my heart's from the hometown. But I'll say this. This will not be the same game we got last year. Both teams are improved, but Reigns, I think, is that much more improved than where they were last year. This team is way more feistier, and they're more athletic on offense. They have the ability this year to actually stretch Northwestern out on defense. If Northwestern does what they're supposed to do, they win this game. I say that.
And maybe so, but obviously, okay, you can look back at their schedule, looking back here, obviously, Trinity Christian State semifinals, obviously, Lake Mary, if you told me Lake Mary was going to make the state championship game back on September 12th, I would have told you no, but hell no, that wasn't going to happen. But here we are, Lake Mary, as we've talked about.
But is that a detriment on Lake Mary, or is it a sign to come from Reigns?
And maybe so, and we'll talk about that on the other side with Lake Mary here in a moment.
Here's the other thing to this. You're playing right in the backyard of Northwestern.
Yeah,
it's going to be another.
That's the other thing here. Last year we saw that. We saw the crowd and how much it affected Range.
I'm telling you, it's going to be the same thing again. Liberty City is showing up. Come hell or high water, they will show up. They will show up. If there's even 3 feet of water sitting there at Pitbull Stadium, they will show up. Okay,
yeah,
there could be a Cat 4 hurricane sitting out there in Biscayne Bay on here in the middle of December, and they're going to still show up. That's how.
Yeah, it was a monsoon last year too. Last year was a monsoon.
All right. There could be a threat of Burmese pythons, from the Everglades coming in, and they would still show up. That I'm telling you. There's going to be 12,000 people more plus. And it's a Friday night, not a Saturday night. It's a Friday night, which even makes it even better because it's way Miami Northwestern fans are going to roll.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be tailgating. They're going to be having. I'm just telling you.
Ichiban
give me
Duval is coming. We're coming too. We'll be at the game too.
Well, okay. We'll see how many fans make the drive down. Miami Northwestern, I'm taking my pick. Miami Northwestern 42-28.
I like
Miami
it.
Miami Northwestern 42-3.
3?
He's
3?
He's using 3 this year.
Chris, it's time to go to bed. Chris. 3?
Hey,
that's less than they scored last year.
It was bad last year.
They scored more than 3.
I know.
Right. You want to know what my pick was at the beginning of the week when I actually had Northwestern? It was 42-34 Northwestern. It was my original.
All right, guys, we got a few. We only got a few more minutes. We got to wrap. We got 2 more picks to make here.
Yeah.
Anyways, American Heritage. Basically, I've been told that they actually flew to Fort Walton Beach. So apparently, as we saw here, American Heritage had no trouble with Choctaw. 31-14, and then Jones is into this game. So it's a rematch of the two teams from last year. American Heritage getting the chance to defend their state title at 8-5. Jones 12-2. Some people think this is Jones's year, but here's my question to y'all: is American Heritage, have they figured it out, and are they peaking at just the right time? that they're going to be able to win this title again.
I'm so mad that I listened to y'all last week.
I'm so mad I listened to myself.
Because I said that exact statement you just said, that I thought that Heritage was peaking at the right time. And then you went on this whole thing, which you pulled in me. I do this to you. I make you switch your picks. And y'all convinced me. You were like, no, Choctaw, backwoods football, it's going to happen. And what happened? Yes, Heritage is peaking at the right time. Yes, they're peaking at the right time. Heritage wins this game 31-27.
I think the difference in this game was American Heritage actually flew to the game instead of.
We thought they were all taking the bus, but we found out later on. Well, no, they got on a plane from Fort Lauderdale and flew up to.
They pulled a fast one on us.
They did, and
it's their fault we didn't pick them, not ours.
You know what? Here, I'm just at this point. Damn the stats at this point. Here's my thing. Damn the stats at this point. This is gonna be a great ball game. Okay, you don't. I mean, obviously, you don't have Vernell Brown III and all these other guys from last year, but obviously, you still got your quarterback, obviously for Jones, and I still expect it to be a top game. I expect this to be a good old-fashioned barn burner like we saw last year. But I am not picking against American Heritage this week. Give me the Patriots. Give it to me by 6 points. That's how close it'll be. Jones will fight, but I'm taking American Heritage for the win by 6.
And, to be fair, both teams are not the same as they were last year.
No, they're not. But they're still going to put up points. That's the thing. And this team, they're going to fight. Jones wants to be here just as much as American Heritage wants to be here to defend the title. Jones wants to win one. Jones has been hungry. Jones has been looking for this ever since the first time they got to a state title game in 2019. And they played Miami Northwestern that year at Daytona Stadium. And that game was a sellout. I mean, talk about the massive traffic jam at Daytona Stadium. Never mind that. Never mind the mess there in the 2019 about that. But I digress. Jones is looking for one. Jones wants one. They're desperate.
I get the feeling that this game's going to be a lot like the Chaminade Madonna game. And it's going to come down to the last drive of the game. So give me American Heritage and like in a similar score, 28-24.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least, the nightcap, the final game that will put the whole bow onto the 2025 season. And my goodness, I don't think this could have been any better. It's Coach. I totally. We listened to Coach last week about Lake Mary. Mm-hmm. It's Vero Beach and Lake Mary for all the marbles in the 7A title game. Vero Beach 14-0, Lake Mary 11-3. But you got to think about it. Who's Lake Mary play? Lake Mary's played a tough schedule. But you know what? We looked at it. Lake Mary, the last 5-6 games, they're peaking at the right moment. Yeah. And that's what got them here. But we also think about, look at Vero Beach. Did they get gassed a little bit against Miami Palmetto in a double overtime? Possibly. But
it comes down to strength of schedule for both of those teams. I mean, Vero Beach has had a much easier path over the last 5 weeks than Lake Mary has, and the outputs are pretty similar.
And we look at the whole collective body of work for between these two teams. Both teams have played tough teams along the way this year. They have played tough schedules. They have played some tough opponents in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Tough opponents in the playoffs that who have played their own tough schedules in their own respective right. So at the end of the day, this game is what you would want in your highest classification. This is the kind of matchup you want, and we're getting it this year. Thank you very much to Vero Beach, and thank you very much, Lake Mary, for getting here. Who wants it the most? Does Vero Beach – here's the thing. Key critical facts. Does Vero Beach win their first state title since 1981? I was not even born yet when the last time Vero Beach won the state title. Or – is it going to be Scott Perry, who has been the head coach at Lake Mary for over 20 years, played under Steve Spurrier at the University of Florida, is a Lake Mary alum himself, bringing home their first state title in program history? That's what's at stake. Two teams that, none of these kids know what it is to hoist a state trophy up.
And Lake Mary came close last year.
Lake Mary came close, but Venice blew them out.
Yeah.
At the end. And you've got a quarterback. You've got a quarterback matchup. This game's got a quarterback matchup, and you love to see it. You love to see this quarterback matchup that you've got in this game. I you know what? Hats off to the FSA for getting this right in terms of what the final nightcap was going to be. You couldn't ask for a better game to be put into the nightcap. I mean, my goodness, you look at the numbers between Vero Beach and Lake Mary, total yards per game. Vero Beach 360, Lake Mary 328. Very similar type numbers for both teams. I mean, you got Ephraim White for Vero Beach. You got Noah Grabs for Lake Mary. I mean, you just can't get any better than this for a final cap off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're a football fan. You love it. You love it. And for national sake, they better be paying attention to this dang on game. Because if they're not, they sleeping on the rocks.
You know, if Lake Mary does anything right this week, they'll pay attention to that game tape from the Palmetto game.
And I think, and I'm pretty sure Scott Perry's doing that. And guess what? Hey, you know what? I want to say, what was it? The Venice? Yeah, it was. I think that game was actually that 7A game was that afternoon game last year because it was also.
It was
a nightcap. This is a nightcap. You talk about being able to play under the lights on a Saturday night to cap this off. This is no better game to cap it off. I mean, both teams. Lake Mary averages 1 sack a game. Vero Beach averages 2. It's who can get to the quarterback. Which team can get to the quarterback on defense? Which team can shut the other down first? Who's going to blitz first? You gotta let me fly. And of course, coach has to bring it back on that one. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Peacock got upset with us, but you know what? Our picks were right. So, end of the day, hey, we picked right. Gentlemen, to wrap this up, your final pick of the season for the Class 7A state championship game. Coach, I'm going to go with you last year. Chris, go for it.
I am so torn on this game.
Because I know what Coach's going to pick. So I know you're torn. I'm torn too.
This game is going to go maybe 1-2 overtime.
Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be a dandy to close out the season?
Give me Vero Beach to edge it out on a missed PAT or a missed 2-point conversion.
Holy cow. Good night. Oh, man. Whew. All right. Coach, before we get your pick, because I already kind of know who you're going to pick, we'll hold on to it. Maybe you might surprise me. Gosh.
Marinate on that for a second.
I'm going to marinate on that one. This is tough. This is hard. This has been torn, but I mean, my gosh. Vero Beach had to really fight, and they had to play 2 overtimes. And they get an extra day of rest, but I'm just worried that game against Palmetto may have gassed them a little bit too much. Lake Mary, on the other hand, we expected tit for tat. I think Lake Mary knew it. Venice knew it. It was going to be tit for tat in that game. They knew it. They came in prepared, whereas a lot of people thought, oh, well, Vero Beach is going to run them again. Miami Palmetto. No, they weren't letting that happen. With that said, man, as much as I want to see Vero Beach bring home their first state title in 40-plus years, and as much as I want to see Lake Mary bring home their first state title ever, my gosh. You know what? I'm going to have to flip a coin here. I got this coin that said the FSA logo on one side, 250 on the other side. I'm going to have to flip a coin for this pick. Oh, sorry. I'm not flipping a coin. Give me Lake Mary by a field goal. Noah Grubbs and company will finally bring it home to Lake Mary and put for Scott Perry's career, this would be this is the moment for his career as a head coach. I'm taking Lake Mary this year. they will bring home the title. This Vero Beach is no Venice like it was last year.
No, they're not. No, they were not.
Not even close. Lake Mary is sitting in a golden opportunity, and Lake Mary has been playing their best football right now, and they're peaking at just the right moment. So give me the Lake Mary Rams to bring home the title to Central Florida in Class 7A, and basically give all Seminole County something to just cheer on and clap for, big time. That's my pick. Coach, the floor is yours. I have a feeling I know who you're going with, but just go ahead and tell everybody because I think I know who it is.
Like I said, man, peaking at the right time. Noah Grubbs has really been remarkable over the last 5 games. Just no mistakes. Playing really mistake-free football and more than just managing the offense. He is slinging the rock better than I've seen him do all season long. Right now, when it counts the most, he's got confidence through the roof, but he's grounded. You can see he's got total control of the offense, the total trust of the coaches. And the one thing over the last 5 weeks that has been a steady course is there has not been a single team that has an answer for Garrett Scholes on the outside. He's a mismatch problem. He's going to his future home stadium. Then you look at the ground attack, two-man monster at running back that's just steadily just beating teams up on the ground. The defense has improved every game over the last 5 weeks. Just flying around, all hats on the ball. Noah Grubbs is leaving here in about 3 weeks to head up to Notre Dame. And, man, I just, as much as I want to give y'all this close matchup, I got Lake Mary 38, Vero Beach 27. I'll see y'all down there because I'll be down there Saturday night cheering my boys on. And big win. Big win.
And Coach, real quick, okay, the points for points against for Vero Beach is 601 to 196. Okay, Lake Mary is 457 to 345. I suggest people to throw that out the door. Throw it out the door. Just ignore it.
You know,
look over the last 5 games. I mean, you look over the last 5 games. The average opponent rank for Lake Mary was 47. The average opponent rank for Vero Beach was 142. And
Chris got something to say here. What, Chris?
Let me say this: Lake Mary, all through the playoff, had been the underdog.
Yeah, and they are again.
Underdog in every game in these playoffs.
Well, they're going to be the underdog in this game, but I don't think they're the underdog. They're the overdog. So, but anyways, we are out of time here, guys. We got to wrap this thing up. I got to get going. I got to get to the fiance here in a moment here anyways. But anyways, any final thoughts, gentlemen, as we wrap this up here?
Ready for tomorrow night.
This is going to be one interesting week.
It's going to be interesting. It's either going to be close games or I feel like there's going to be blowouts. I don't know if there's anything in between.
All I can say is girls flag football, please be good this year. Good gracious.
Girls flag will be this year. We'll be good.
I'm going to be missing football too much. I need the girls to keep that steam going. I know that it's looking like it's going to be such an exciting year. I've seen all the posts. It looks like everyone's really excited for flag football this year. So let's just enjoy a final week of guys high school football and then looking forward to the future as we go into spring. A lot of teams are going to be hungry to come back next year that I feel like maybe fell short. That, especially some teams that we thought were going to win that didn't win. There's going to be some hungry teams. Next year is going to look interesting. We're going to have some new state champions, I think, next year as these classifications get shuffled up.
No,
so
absolutely, and we'll recap the final games next week. But I'm not sure exactly when we'll do that yet because we may want to combine that with some talk of the classifications, which are not going to be set until Wednesday. So we may do our final show, Drive the State, next Wednesday to recap everything up from the state championships and everything. And then hopefully I'll be able to have a big announcement on some things here as well this week here as well. So, and then we'll talk about that as well next week. But That's for Christopher Lyke there in the top right corner. Coach Robert Ron sitting there in the bottom of the screen. I'm Joshua Wilson. Appreciate everybody. Follow us as long as we'll have updates. We'll have photos from those games as well. I'll have photos from the 4 games last week at the Villages as well, going up on FortHSFootball.com. And be on the lookout for those NFHS Network links to be able to watch those state championship games at Pitbull Stadium. We appreciate everybody that's been joining us here and watching the Drive the State the last 2 hours. Thank y'all, and y'all take care. And best of luck.
Congrats, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Best of luck to all the teams this week. See y'all next week.